Mic check 1 2 1 2. What is this? 2BT boys back in business.
Dan, we are here. We're back. I think I'm adopting that, and then I'm also adopting the Dow Jones is at 50,000.
What you need to do is to give some tips to Zimbabwean streamers, Phil.
Okay, let me load this up. I can't believe you haven't watched this video yet, Dan.
Show me. What am I looking at?
Let me find the longer version so you get the full context. Anyway, how are you doing, Dan? Are you good? Are you strong? Are you well? Are you happy?
I am well. I do not have too much to complain about. I am currently in Cape Town, even though I'm not living the Cape Town life.
Okay, I can't find the long form. I'm just going to play this one, and you're going to have to get it.
Why you're laughing? You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000, and the Nasdaq smashing. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin.
The American Secretary,
the Dow is over
what's her name? The Attorney General.
Yes. So I don't know if you,
Pam Bondi.
One guess to guess where she was when she was announcing how well the Dow Jones is doing.
Was she not being grilled by Congress
about
the Epstein files?
About Jeffers? Yes, she was.
Yes.
And at this point in time, a bunch of victims were asked to stand up, and they were asked, "Hey, victims, since you all are here, and these guys are saying that they're keen to investigate this case, how many of you have reached out to the DOJ?" They all put their hands up, and they're like, "Okay, cool." And all of you guys that have reached out to the DOJ, how many of you have heard from the DOJ, either from a representative, your lawyer, family member? 0. And they were like, "Yo, fam, what type of investigation are you doing when the people are right behind you who should be interviewed and you're not interviewing them?" And then in the middle of her answer, she was like, "Hey, why are you grilling me? How dare you? Best president in the world, the Dow Jones is doing amazing."
So again, against my will, I came across some of that information. I think it's because I was working today, I had YouTube on, and it was playing The Daily Show. I think it was, I don't know, one of the correspondents was doing it. So I heard a little bit about this. But Phil, don't you think we know too much about American politics?
When America sneezes, we all catch the flu.
I know. My point here is not that it doesn't matter. My point is not that we shouldn't know about it or that we should ignore it. My point is, don't you think we know too much?
No, I don't think we know enough. There's a lot happening that we don't know about. Or rather, we can bring closer to home and talk about a constitutional amendment that's been posited in Parliament. You want to do that?
Yeah, sure. Why not? That sounds like exactly the kind of thing that this podcast talks about.
Andrika, let's do that.
My point is, I think it's important for us to know in general what America is doing. But I don't think it's important for us to know the statements of Attorney General Pam Bondi as she is grilled. And there's just too much, and it's just bad, and it's crazy, and it's I know too much American news, and I am actively trying to cut down.
So I don't know if you saw what I shared in the group. Then did you see how many times Zimbabwe keeps popping up in these Epstein files?
Not a couple of times, Phil. There's literally 6 million documents. Of course, the word Zimbabwe pops up.
No, but like specific stuff about us, about of currency being investigated, about people flying in to invest, about someone who was on.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's 3 of. Okay, I think I've seen 3. One about a minister.
I'm right now. I'm counting.
Mugabe.
I'm counting 1, 2 from different senders. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. I'm counting unknown senders, 1 person. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 people talking about Zimbabwe in the Epstein files already. That's just not the total emails, just the people, including the Sultan bin Salayem. He loves Zimbabwe apparently because this nigga can't stop talking about us.
Okay, do you know what? I actually think we should. We didn't talk about it last week, but I think since it's such a big story, we have to talk about the whole Epstein file situation. But have you been using Gmail?
No,
I have not, Phil. I have not.
Are you familiar with what that is?
Here's a question for you. Yes, I'm familiar. It's a clone of Jeffrey Epstein's Gmail. Here's a question for you. Okay, let's say unbeknownst to you, you don't know how. Let's say it's redacted or the file hasn't been released yet, but your name appears in the Jeffrey Epstein files.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the information you have. Your name is in the Jeffrey Epstein files. You don't have access to the actual conversation, what's in it, what it's about. Would you put out a statement before it gets released? Would you wait to see? What would you do?
Of course, I'd wait to see. Like, I don't like. Obviously, I know I wasn't touching on little children. I know I wasn't at his apartment. I know I wasn't in New Mexico. I know I wasn't on the island. So clearly, I was being mentioned in a roundabout way.
Would you, for example, go and do a podcast where you say, I only met him once. I would never want to be around that disgusting man again.
Oh no, but keep in mind, but remember, I did this podcast because I was his neighbor. And I didn't know my name was in the documents. I didn't know they had access to his emails where me and my wife were begging to come over for dinner a couple of times. And people started to get wise to the fact that every time Epstein's name gets mentioned when I'm in front of a camera, I start giggling uncontrollably like a schoolgirl.
Anyway, I just thought I'd ask because the thought crossed my mind today. Like, let's say I know I'm innocent, but this huge body of documents is tied to so much guilt. If you were somehow involved, how would you react? Would you like, okay, everyone relax. Yes, my name is in there, but it's obviously something like we should find someone who knows Zimbabwe. There's this guy I saw online named Danny that guy or something. Okay, that's the only way I could be in those files. And the reason that it made me think of that is like when two of the late night hosts, I think it was Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert, when they were first doing the like big shows after the Epstein file, the latest round of the Epstein files dropped, they both mentioned that I'm in there too. And I was like, and it was both like, I think for Jon Stewart, it was something like, we should do a show about something we can find someone like Jon Stewart to host. And then Stephen Colbert's was, I can't even remember, something like that. But I was like, how would you approach it? I thought that was funny. Oh man, what a week. What a couple of weeks. This world's too much, Philip. It's too much. Too much. And this is why this podcast, Phil, serves as an escape from the stark realities that most people suffer from. Stop playing around with your video, Phil. We're using this. There's going to be video.
Oh, sorry. Hello. And I went to get my barber today, and then I got delayed, so I didn't manage to get my
This week on Two Broke Twimbos. Let's see, I just recorded the intro for all the things. You won't believe what happened next on Two Broke Twimbos. Number 3 is the best.
Okay, let's start the show, Dan. Let's start the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to we just need a couple of takes for the video.
Okay.
In incredible news this week on Two Broke Twimbos.
Okay.
Watch till the end.
We're not doing that.
That should be enough.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
We will do it.
Okay, Dan, are you?
Good to go.
Are you?
Good to go.
Yes.
Good to go.
Let me hear a drum.
Yeah.
Right. Welcome one more again to another episode of your favorite show. This is Two Broke Twimbos. We're back again for your weekly dose of just great content. My name is Danny That Guy, aka Danos the Mad Titan, aka Denford Wegmaraini, aka Denimbi My Life Your Entertainment, aka let's extend the tenure of this podcast by 2 years, Philip.
That's right.
If not longer, constitutionally. Okay, hakuna moment done more. Sorry, go on.
That's right. These are the unmistakable, the irrefutable, the unquestionable, the undeniable, that you will not stop in your bull. The praise the Lord of Bill. All honor to his name, Bill Phil Chad, aka Flame Flows, the big boss, where we get feeds up, P, aka Sexless Love, we get Filthy Phil, you get DJ Mukhariji, and of course, Shamari Tengero, Morta, and Vibe. Yeah, I almost slipped again, but nah, fam. We're buying cars this year, man. We're getting new cars this year, dog. Yo, you want to hear something crazy? In fact, I'm gonna give him a shout out because it's a funny story. So, I normally use a VPN, as I'm sure you know. So,
An Israeli one, Phil?
of course, we gotta support. We gotta support the people, the tribe of Judah. We gotta support the tribe of Judah. You know what I'm saying? We gotta support the chosen people.
Sorry about the whole Baal statue and everything. But anyway, go on.
That's a wild.
That's such a wild one. I honestly, I have to start. I was watching a video of Josh Johnson, and he was like, "Bro, I think we have to send out some apologies to like the conspiracy theorists we know because, bro, these past couple of weeks have just been good." Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
I actually had to say I didn't even watch the Josh Johnson thing, but did you see the Kurt Cobain story that came out?
Yes, I saw that as well.
All the conspiracy theories have been proven true. So anyway, where were we? We're talking
You were
about
saying a funny story, yeah.
Was my mother not celebrating in the family group with that Guan? She was like, you see, these are the end times. These are the end times. These are the critical times. You see, the devil worship of the false idols are being destroyed. This is when we need to stay alert. Okay? Because do not forget, Dan, you do not know the day or the hour. Huh?
Let me tell you, it's a tough week for anti-WhatsApp groups, is what I can say.
They're
The
getting all that.
prophecies are being fulfilled. The signs are being shared. And honestly, Phil,
I've got no rebuttal.
I don't think-
I've got no rebuttal because even I was like, wait a minute, this is actually a deep one. And then you start seeing the responses, and they're pissed. They are pissed. We're like, wait, so this is your man's. This is your man's all along.
I'm telling you, I never listened to anyone who ever mentioned Baphomet in my life. But right now, I'm like, yo, you got space in that WhatsApp group for me there?
I am
Add
so
me in,
confused
auntie.
then because I was so confused. I was always operating on the assumption these guys were Old Testament down. You know what I mean?
I'm confused.
And Old Testament to me, might remember stories of Old Testament. False idols were being burnt and destroyed left, right, and center. People were being cursed for worshiping false idols. You guys had a nigga right now.
That's your man. That's your man. Look, I am aware that at these big companies, the tech companies that are processing this podcast,
There's some Baal worshippers.
listen, man, we didn't. There's worse. Skip this one. Skip this one. There's worse.
I refuse to fear some man that on his weekends wears an eyes wide shut mask.
If you're a little confused about what we're talking about, well done to you for managing to maintain your innocence in these fraught times. It's a tough time, right? And I will not ruin that innocence. Let's continue talking about music and movies and fun stuff and silly things that are happening. Hey, everything is great. Everything is good and nice. For if you know what we're talking about, Mawan. I'm just saying, I think, Auntie, please put me in the WhatsApp group. I'm now ready.
Oh, now I lost my train of thought. Okay, I was talking about Zim TikTok. What was I talking about Zim TikTok that I wanted to get to? Oh, I was going to give a shout out to my boy Silas Kaja. So I normally use hey, look at how you distract me. You're bad for my ADHD. Let me take my meds. Anyway,
say I'm overstimulating. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this is mental health life. As you guys can see, I'm taking my dosage. By the way, Dan, do you know how much my monthly supply of meds has now got to? Because the whole country, there's no Section 75 meds anymore. For those you don't know, Section 75 meds are the mental health related meds, your SSRIs and so forth. So there's nothing there. So now like the pharmacist will hit me on the side and like, yo, Phil, listen, officially there's no meds, but I got you. So all you need to do, go back to your doctor and ask him to adjust the prescription to this quantity and this variant, and I got you. I'm like, okay, cool. How much is it going to cost you?
But why are there no meds?
Because Section 75 meds need to be imported with foreign currency, which we don't seem to have at the moment. And because they're a controlled substance, they're distributed by the Ministry of Health.
Okay. Understood.
So homie will come to me like, okay, just adjust your prescription and then I got you. Don't worry, I got you. So I'm like, cool, I got him. An hour later, I get a call from a number I don't recognize. Now it's a woman. She's like, hello, hi, is this Phil? I'm like, yeah. Okay, so I believe you need blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah. Which pharmacy? No. There's no pharmacy. I'll come to you. Just tell me where you are. So I'm like, okay, I'm at this address. It's like, okay, cool. So that's going to be $450. I'm like, wait, whoa. So I'm like, okay, cool. Can I claim this on my medical aid? She's like, no, you can't, sorry. But I mean, I understand, if you don't want, we can organize a smaller quantity for you, but we'll get that to you. And then 30 minutes later, a red BMW pitches up with brown paper bags, literally brown paper bags, and sealed meds with stamps from foreign countries. I will not say more, but so all I am is grateful that I'm able to get my meds the way I am, because Lord knows there are people who aren't as lucky, and it's real. Back to the story.
All I can say is I hope that you're not Jameson bottling those meds.
No, they're legit. They're actually, the weird thing is they're legit, like the packaging, everything, because I looked up the batch number. The batch number matches everything. I did my research. They're legit meds. They're just not from here or for here. You know what I mean? It's like those Ozempic pens that babes were smuggling into the country, but but for proper purposes. Anywho, speaking of, because people think I'm on Ozempic, but anyway, that's another story for another day. So I'm on Zim TikTok for the first time in a while, and I'm seeing someone I went to school with. I'm seeing someone
What do
who's
you mean? What do you mean Zim TikTok?
I always use a VPN, and I randomly change my locations daily. So the social media apps and tracking cookies don't know where I'm at or so forth, right? So this time I went in raw, as they say. And so I was getting Zim TikTok. And once in a while, I just like to see what's happening. But normally when I'm on Zim TikTok, I'm not logged in. And I'm seeing someone I went to school with. And he's also someone whose workshop in Mutare is near my dad's workshop. So I know this guy very well. And he's got a new workshop in Iraq, and he's doing real well. His numbers are crazy. And he's showing off his fleet of cars. I'm like, gotcha. Look at him doing his thing. Dope. And I'm already now filled with joy and happiness. Like, this is my dude. I went to school with this guy. He took over the family business. He's doing real well. They've opened a branch in South Africa. They've opened a branch in Harare. Shout out to them, Top Class Motors. If you want to get your panel beating car customization, I'll give him a shout out because he's my boy. Good looking out to him. I go to the comments. Who do I see as the first comment glazing this dude, bruh? Take a guess.
Ooh.
Michael Chad, my father, using his government name. Not even hiding his identity, just glazing him. I'm like, God, jeez, Dad.
Phil, I've malfunctioned. Give me a second. Your father is not glazing anyone, Phil.
I didn't even know this man knew how to use TikTok.
The brain rot has set in. It's not glazing, okay? Your story has just malfunctioned me.
I'm being dramatic, but yeah, I had a good laugh. I just had a good laugh. I was like, the positivity was.
Okay. Let's actually do the show. Let's start off by celebrating Zimbabweans doing big things. Oh, sorry. This is the document created by our producer. Let me go to our document.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to disconnect my mic for a second. I've got some looseness I need to fix.
Do your thing while I read this. Okay, let's celebrate some Africans doing it big this week. Actually, let me start with the Zimbabweans. A huge shout out to the Zimbabwe cricket team, the Chevrons, who ruthlessly dismissed Oman this past week. They had a very thorough dismantling of the
We hit
Oman
Oman
cricket
saying,
team.
"Oh man."
It was an 8-wicket destruction that happened in Colombo. Blessing Msarabani, Richard Ngarava, and Brad Evans were on fire. Apparently, they took a combined 9 wickets, which was great news. So big shout out to them. According to the Herald, Raza, as well as who's BT? How can you just say BT? I don't know their names. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Oh, I think that's Brian Bennett. Why would they call him BT if his name's Brian Bennett?
Because his initials are BT. I don't know. That was confusing.
Oh, maybe it's... I don't know. Maybe that's Brendan Taylor. Anyway, long story short, Zimbabwe did very well against Oman, so shout out to you guys. Celebrating some Africans, Apple Music last month. We didn't mention it last week, but last month they announced the class of 2026 for Africa Rising. Africa Rising is their cohort of artists that they are pushing and saying is the future of music. They release one every year, and normally those artists then become the big names in music going forward, I guess because they get that Apple boost. This year's cohort feature is Caesar, TG Black, Gona Boy, Damie, Kid CJ, and Rue. Of those, of course, I only know Caesar, but shout out to you guys. Expect them to be the next big African artist. If they eventually do blow up to the superstar levels, then we can claim that Tubrok Twimbos set them first. And I suppose when we discuss the Namas, we can talk about the people who are nominated for the Namas. But shout out to all the people who are nominated in the Namas. Did we have Zimachivas Global? When did Zimachivas Global happen? Sorry, before I lied to you guys.
Keyboard rushanda. Yo, naso grama key.
Hardwick. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for Zimbabwe's Wicked Big. Just a quick follow-up from last week, Phil. Last week, I was listening back to our episode and I was like, you know what? We had a pretty good, entertaining return to podcasting. I thought it went well.
Yeah. We're saving all our part for you.
I thought it went really well. Huge shout out to the patrons, because several people, once they received the episode, they were like, okay, have you guys sorted out your Patreon situation? We said, no, we'll sort it out next week. So we have not yet sorted it out.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, we'll figure it out. So a bit of the backstory. For a couple of years now. No, I can't say. I don't think I should say it on public. Anyway,
Okay.
for a couple of years, we've been trying to sort out some finance thing. And I've now said, Dan, you know what? I don't even want to be anywhere near it in case I've got the finance cooties.
Yeah, but that means we would have to create a new... There's no way of bringing back the old Patreon, right?
No, I've got documentation.
Database.
So, And now with Claude, Dan, we just put it in there. We just copy paste. I mean, come on. We just vibe code the new page.
I don't know how to do it. Okay, we'll figure it out. This is the problem with living in a sanctioned country. You know what I'm saying?
Which I'm learning more of, because now that I'm trying to work at I'm doing work with the fintech, there's so much stuff that happens behind the scenes that you don't know about. Like it's bad. Like, do you know there's some policies that are determined by the IMF because they're like, Zimbabwe, scam. I'm like, wait, who's scamming in Zimbabwe?
Bro. The thing is, I'm not working in a fintech, but because we have done advertising for all the banks and all the major financial institutions, we often have conversations. And some of the ones I hear, I'm like, yo, wild. Just as an overview, apparently, there's a lot of people who are arbitraging policy. And it's not going over well in the international community. So
they're arbitraging the policy.
The financial policies that exist in the country.
Oh,
that they tell the things that are allowed and things that are not allowed. I don't want to get too deep into it. I mean, these were things that were said in confidence, but just generally overall, yeah, I've heard similar rumors like that. But yeah, anyway, I also want to give a big shout out to all our Patreon members who had some positive feedback for our podcast, and they were so happy to see us back. Thank you so much, you guys. We appreciate it. If you too would like to be a Patreon member, as of now, you cannot subscribe to Patreon, but you can send us once-off donations.
Yeah. We're talking. I think someone said they oh well, you're out of the country, so I don't know if you got the notification. But someone someone sent something through to your
that would be lovely.
to your number last week.
Please, yes. twobroketwimbos.com/donate. But that's for the. Okay, we can put something temporary on there for now at least. So twobroketwimbos.com/donate. And we'll put the information there. But yeah, let's get into our discussions this week. Before we talk about some serious things, Phil, there's something it's just a passing sentiment that I saw on Twitter that I noted down that I really wanted to discuss on the podcast because I feel like we won't have a chance to really talk about it anywhere else. So it's this guy who, I assume it's a guy who tweeted, I am the only person in my family that can torrent. My parents couldn't and my children don't have to. All this knowledge will die with me like tears in the rain. And somehow that tugged at my heartstrings, Phil.
Yeah.
In 2000 and I would say roughly 2008 to 2015, that was an elite skill. I rated myself very highly because of my ability to torrent, to identify files, HD rip versus DVD rip versus Blu-ray rip.
I don't know. Your skill was go website, search file, look at seeders and compare ratio to leeches.
No, this is. Oh man, you see, obviously, as time went on and as the open source community got better, it became easier. And all it was is you just click the top result. But that was not always the case, Phil. That was not always the case. Locating torrent files was a skill. Getting the correct client, uTorrent, BitTorrent. Man.
Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Brian.
Let me tell you how involved this setup was. Right? Shout out Brian.
Brian had the
there was
unlocked.
An automated setup that downloaded every episode of the latest shows that everyone was watching immediately as soon as it came out on the torrent websites and stored it on a server that we could then access. I can't even say through the cloud, but I guess that was that was basically the cloud.
It was the cloud, but also sometimes we'd literally have to go with laptops or our hard drives, plug into a Cat5 cable, leave it copying, do our thing, come back and be like, yo, shout out Breezer, here's money for a drink or here's money for lunch.
I used to hit him up and be like, yo, did you see this new show dropped on HBO? He's like, I got you.
And you know the wild thing, there was a time Brian was getting so meticulous. Brian would have multiple resolutions of the same show. You're like, yo, so do you want the 480, 720, 1080?
Yes.
What do you need?
Yeah, for you broke guys who had capped internet.
Wait, actually,
or you didn't have,
I think
any
we should
storage.
should we not censor his name? Well, we're not saying his full name, but I think.
Yeah. It's a very common name. All I'm saying is, you know what? When I make it in life, fortuna for you, Brian, because you didn't have to do that, bro.
Nah, no, you did it. You did it for the community. You know, he's the type of guy. He's the type of guy. You know, like when you go to some of these sites, they'll have badges next to their username.
Yes,
because the community recognizes these guys are chi for the community.
I was a seeder, okay?
As was I.
A seeder.
As was I.
Prolific seeder.
You know,
I kept files, not that I needed, but I was seeding for the community.
Do you know, okay, I can say this now because I left. You know, like, remember my first job? I don't think it ever came. So there were a lot of computers at my first job. And I was in charge of those computers. And I also had a lot of bandwidth at my first job.
Same story.
I had 20 machines. Every night, I'd leave those 20 machines seeding.
Phil, I worked for a local ISP in the command center, in the operations center. I should say no more.
Time to no, you Icarus, you're getting a little close there, buddy. Getting a little close there.
Man. Anyway, I saw that sentiment today and I just thought I wanted to share that.
But I actually saw that too, and I was thinking about, dude, burning CDs. We were the only generation that did it when you think about it.
Not only, it's not that you will never, our parents never had to, and our kids will never have to.
I think we might have to go back. No, actually they won't, because it'll all be flash media. I don't know if you've been seeing.
It won't even be physical media, Phil. Even if it's owned media, it'll be in the cloud.
No. There's a whole new movement of flash media. I don't know if you've been following this, but like there's a whole new thing of people doing. They're either taking the existing iPods and they renovating because hard drives and chips have become so cheap. And there's a whole hacker community, especially in China, where if you take an iPod Classic, you can fit it with like a 4 terabyte flash drive. And you can upgrade the screen, upgrade the processor, and you still got the iPod hardware. That's version 1. Version 2 is all these iPod clones that people are now buying because they're tired of paying subscriptions to Spotify, or they've realized we don't own the media. Obviously, it's a small niche hacker community, but it's getting really, really popular. I think it's also like a Bluefin. I'm familiar with Bluefin.
Yeah.
Like I remember back in the day, Bluefin was like, it was even way more niche than Cody. But now Bluefin has become incredibly robust. I was looking at it the other day and I was like, this is actually an incredibly impressive system. And at the same time, which I think we'll get to later in our stories, you're seeing Sky introducing a 24-pound package that basically replicates what Sky used to be 25 years ago, which has everything from Disney, everything from Sky, everything from Hulu, everything from Netflix.
So I hear what you're saying, but I think it's a very niche techie group. But, and that group will always actually.
But those are early
Cody.
No,
it just triggered.
Growing.
I have an old Cody setup. I need to take a look at.
So when you think about it, right, even me, I remember the amount of hours I spent setting up my Cody. I, for the life of me, can't even remember how to do. Like, I'll have to go back to my notes.
I was like, oh yeah, crap. I remember I had a Plex server as well.
Yeah, I'll have to go back to my notes in Evernote and figure out the repository. But those repositories are long gone. That's the other thing. So like even the repositories I was using are gone, right? I'll know how to set it up. But the way Bluefin is working with the cache servers and the pre-caching and the way like everyone is basically a seed, like the way it splits files, it's incredibly impressive. But on top of that, like what I've been doing for years now, and I think you remember this, is I've always just been building my physical media library. Because I've realized if I don't own the media and I don't have it, I'll lose it. The same way like when I lost that one hard drive with 2 terabytes of music that I'm still trying to recover. There's music on there that I can't get anywhere else.
So this is an extremely nerdy conversation, and I expect 10% or less of our listeners will actually understand what we're talking about when we say Kodi or Bluefin or repositories or even torrenting for that matter. But it does lead to a very somewhat interesting conversation. It's not even our talking points, but I'll just touch on it because I thought I love these nerdy conversations. So the reason why I think, let me start at the beginning. Right now, the most profitable enterprise is AI. That's why every company is doing AI. That's where all the investment is going. That's where all the money is being spent.
Profits, I'm not sure profitable, but where the money is going.
Well, I mean, okay. Let me put it this way: when I say profitable, I don't necessarily mean as OpenAI as an entire company profitable, but I mean where to place your resources. I think the investment is outspending by far the money that's coming in. But as of now, the money that's coming in, there's no other place online or in technology that is currently creating more revenue than AI or AI adjacent or AI-ish. But that having been said, this has caused hardware to move in a very weird and unexpected way. So for example, right now, RAM has become super scarce and super expensive. And the reason for that, obviously, is because so many of these data centers and whatever, they need tons of RAM to run, right?
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, bro, you don't need my small 16 gigabyte RAM. That's for my personal computer. You don't need this at your huge data center? But no, the company that makes the RAM is not going to waste their time making that small 16 gigabyte RAM chip for you, Mr. Phil, who wants to build your computer at home so you can pay me $60 for it. When I can make OpenAI this using the same materials, I can make this huge, server data center RAM. So all resources are currently being bent towards AI tools. So RAM has shot up in price. Obviously, this has already happened to graphics cards, right? So graphics cards Previously, they had been used for Bitcoin mining and all of that. Now it's all AI. Same is going to be happening, I believe, to a lot of other technological situations. A byproduct of that situation is the best and the most recent is all going towards AI. It's priced out. But everything that's kind of medium, and I mean, it came out a year ago, it came out 2 years ago, it's not valuable anymore to OpenAI or Microsoft or to Google's DeepMind or whatever. Speaking of which, I just saw an announcement that Gemini have just released their latest deep thinking version, which is now blowing Opus 4.6 out of the water. So ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, so the storage, the 10 terabyte hard drive that came out in 2025 is not valuable anymore to the people who are spending the most on technological equipment. It means that there's going to be so many, not top of the range, but medium range storage facilities available. I predict that cloud storage is going to be so ridiculously dirt cheap that it's actually financially irresponsible to buy a hard drive and store your stuff on there. Not only because of the cost, but also because of redundancy. And if your hard drive fails or gets lost or stolen, you've lost all that data. Meanwhile, on these cloud platforms, it's copied over multiple times onto redundancies and all of that. So it's part of why I think now already it's kind of happening that no one stores their own music or their own movies anymore. We used to proudly have that folder on your computer, which is movies, legitimately obtained, of course, music, all of that. But the kids of today are not doing that. Even the adults of today are not doing that. That used to be a thing. You would walk downtown and people would be offering to give you movies. You go with your hard drive, you go with your flash drive, and they're saying, come copy the movies that you want. That's when internet becomes so cheap and storage becomes so cheap for cloud storage, everyone is just streaming. It's much easier. Even if I'm not streaming and I want to own the media, I would rather store it on my Google Drive that I get 6,000 terabytes for 20 cents a year. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think it's going to end up being.
No, I get what you're saying. I believe there are elements of your conversation that are very correct, and there are elements that are very removed from the reality of Zimbabwe, especially for the masses. So right now, the cheapest internet you can get outside of these weird CDMA or MiFi devices is probably like a Smart For You bundle, which is $23. But you don't know how much it is because you just, it's fair use policy now. And they removed that whole thing and you don't know what that threshold is. And there's a very high likelihood if you stream 10 to 15 movies at full resolution, you could easily surpass 50 gigs, which means you're running really close to what they might consider a fair use policy. And that's just for entertainment. That doesn't consider video calling. That doesn't consider file downloading, work, etc. And so I think I bring all that to say that, yeah, you're right. With the caveat being if you have access to unlimited internet or cheap internet that you can afford. And that's not the reality for a lot of people.
100%. I agree. And I'm speaking about what the trend is already showing, not what is currently on the ground now. I'm also speaking about what I expect it to be. So Starlink is technically the cheapest internet that you can get in Zim. It's sold out at the moment. And
oh no, they
all
just
of that.
expanded. They just said they've now got capacity again.
Oh, I have a video coming out about that this weekend. So, okay, so theoretically Starlink, but Starlink is not the only low Earth orbit satellite option that's out there. Amazon this year or next year, should be launching their own competitor to Starlink. I forgot what it's called now. What is it called? Leo. It's actually called Leo, which is so stupid. Low Earth orbit. Amazon Leo should be coming out this year or next year. And it should already start being available in Zim. My point is, in the next couple of years, low Earth orbit internet is going to be ubiquitous. That's obviously going to force the local providers to also reduce their prices to compete and so on. So as of now, yes, I agree, internet is too expensive. But at some point, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, internet is going to be ridiculously cheap. Online storage is going to be ridiculously cheap. Even if it's not direct internet, even if it's someone smart enough to figure out a caching a caching server here in Zim, right? That you don't have to go directly on the internet. We have these caching servers that are going to be at Econet's new huge data center, huge server with exabytes and exabytes of data on there. And what you can do is you don't need internet. What you need is a special bundle through Econet's platform, which is not internet per se, but you can access the cached data that's on these servers, as an example. Again, I don't know exactly how it would work, but something along those lines. Whatever it is, my point is online storage is going to be so cheap and internet is going to be so cheap that it's actually going to be irresponsible to own. The only people who will be doing that are collectors who are willing to pay a premium just for the knowledge of having it. But it's also going to be so inconvenient anyway that you're going to have it, but in reality, you're going to be streaming. If you want to own the data, then you'll be storing it on your cloud storage, or there'll be some solution that's out there.
And I think also when you say that, you forget one thing. You actually don't own or control what's on cloud because all those services scan your content. So there are multiple examples of even if it's a legitimately, quote unquote, legitimately purchased video, they will strike it down and be like, yo, this violates RIA rules or this violates the NMPA. Why do you have this video on your device or rather on your cloud? Or there could be false flags for CSAM. There's a lot of things that still need to be addressed.
Phil, this is the second time that this is now coming against your name in this episode. You might actually be in those files. You know what I'm saying? Why would they be flags for CSAM?
Some of those jokes are funny. Yeah. Some of those jokes are funny.
Is it? Are you worried that you might be in there for real?
No, I don't like that type of. Why would you joke about me like that? Like I don't joke about you like that. I would never crack a CSAM joke about you. Nah, fam. I wouldn't go that far. Nah. CSAM. Dan, there are things to joke about, but CSAM. Nah. I would rather you crack a bowel joke than a CSAM joke.
Let me get this straight. CSAM is not something one should joke about.
Mm-hmm. Or someone having it, yeah.
Someone having it.
No, the implication that I have it, or the implication that you have, someone that I know, and I'm saying, blaz. I think that's a lot to put on someone's name, bruh.
I would agree with you for talking about accusations, but we're going back to the joke. What I want to understand is your belief is that this is a topic that is off limits for jokes.
No. I'm not saying it's off limits for jokes.
Okay, so it's on limits for jokes, but only for people you don't know.
I'm saying Dripper list. You said Dripper list. To get blast. Don't call your reason.
But your reasoning for saying that is that's not something to joke about. So I'm coming back to that question. Some people do believe there's topics that are off, things that are there are topics that are off limits for jokes. Do you believe that CSAM is off limits for jokes?
No.
That's what I'm asking.
I'm saying putting.
Don't just say words. Don't just say. Dan, these are the things you joke about. Are you saying that we can't joke about that? That's what I want to know. If you're saying we can, then
I clearly said don't put it on me. Don't put CSAM on me.
Okay, all right. Anyway, I'm not recognizing what's on my screen. Did you put this here? Is this the NAMA Awards?
Yeah, I was funny enough as you're talking. I'd looked up the fake love and it started auto playing, and I saw that terrible scene of Winky D fighting a lion, and I was just like, I can't believe this got nominated. Anyway.
All right, just today, the day of recording, we got the NAMA Awards nominations.
Moments before we started. Actually, we delayed to get these details.
It's the 24th. NAMA 24 is what they're calling it, even though it's happening in 26. That's because it's the 24th edition.
They really should have
which is very confusing.
they really should have 2 numbers in a year just to catch up or something. They need to figure.
Honestly, I mean, also it's okay. It's okay to just skip a couple and just say the next one is NAMA 20. So up to NAMA 24, it was the 24th edition. Now it's NAMA 26 in 2026 because it's very confusing. Because now if I'm searching for it, I'm not going to search. If I search NAMA 2024, it's going to give me the 2026 edition. Anyway, long story short, there's some notable nominations that were dropped in there. What stood out to you here, Philip?
I mean, first and foremost, it's great to see. Well, granted, I wasn't involved in the actual plays. I was involved in the organization of the festival and the promotion of them. But shout out to the Amasi team. Big nominations in the theatrical awards. So in the theater awards, the outstanding actor, we've got Kedrick Musengiwa. For the Animal Farm, we've got Elroy Takunda. Elroy was actually working with us as well as Benjamin in the Animal Farm, and Ronald Sijeka for These Humans Are Sick, directed by, no, rather written by Tatenda Mshkambizi. My boy Tatenda, shout out to him, bruh. Then outstanding actress Chido Joanne Tenga. Can We Talk? Once again in our Masi production. We got Tsungere Chenjerai for the Animal Farm, and then Tando Kwane for Ipi Ndombi. Outstanding theatrical production. Once again, Can We Talk by Almasi, and then In Search of a King by Celebration Church, and then The Animal Farm again. So what they're killing it. Outstanding director once again. Shout out to Leonard Matza, sorry, for Can We Talk. And my boy Tatenda, outstanding playwright, nominated for These Humans Are Sick. And also Batsira Chigama. 2. So the 2 nominees in outstanding playwright are both Almasi cohort. Nice. So shout out to Almasi.
That's very interesting because this is so heavily dominated by the Almasi plays. Like, what would have happened if that festival didn't happen? Yeah?
So that's one of the things, like, I knew of Almasi, but I didn't really fully understand until I started working with them. And I was like, yo, the work these guys are doing is actually incredible. Like, this work is incredible. It needs to be highlighted more. Not to take any credit. I think they've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to get this stuff out there. And they've been doing this for now 13 years. So it's great to see that they're getting the recognition they deserve. This is dope. This is dope. Other awards. I mean, we can go through the literary and the fiction and so forth, because I know Dan, you're an avid reader, but you know, let's
we can skip all of these.
Let's go to the arts.
Digital arts awards.
Let's start there. So, outstanding female social media content creator. I bumped into her today. Shout out. I bumped into Gracia earlier today. She's nominated. Shout out to Gracia.
Gracia Vute, aka the gearbox lady who gave I Show Speed my gearbox.
Shout out to Butterfly. Also nominated. Wow, interesting. Then we got Blessing Nashe for Nashe the Plug. Nice. Outstanding male. We've got Sup Good People. Marvelous. Kelvin Biriot. Nice. I actually just spoke to him earlier this week. So, a lot of people that I'm speaking to right now. And then Prince Ivalo Mshlangu for Magriza Made Me Cook. Outstanding podcast. Why were we not here?
What does Kelvin do?
He does human interest stories. He does like long form interviews, and he like packages together. So like his latest episode, he was interviewing Nash Payne's son, who just started like a fast food outlet. So stuff like that.
That's crazy. Nash Payton's son. Anyway, yeah.
I'm going to say you know, I'm making it easy for them.
Tinashe. Anyway, yeah, okay.
So outstanding podcast, we got Zigo podcast. I've never heard of Zigo. Have you heard of Zigo podcast? I don't know.
Nope. Googling it now.
Who are they? Okay. Pass and Move podcast. Yo, I don't lie. The only podcast I know in this list is Ola. The only person I know here is Ola. Once again, someone I was speaking to yesterday. Small world, but I don't know these niggas. Who are these niggas? And why aren't we nominated?
Zigo.
Actually, Jen. We're dropping them.
Zigo has 167,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Dan, we really are dropping the ball. We need to get serious. With what we're doing here. We actually need to get serious.
I mean, this dude drops an episode every day. What the heck?
This is a podcast, or is a human interest thing? Anyway, Dan, let's get serious. We need to actually get serious.
What the heck?
You know what? We need to get serious.
It's a podcast.
We're Dan.
Daily
Dan,
drops.
We like, with the exception of the Larry Kurirai podcast and shoot, I'm forgetting what is that podcast Candace used to be on? I'm forgetting the name again. With the exception of those two podcasts, we preempt all these guys. And look at us. No, we can't get overtaken like this. This year, we need to get serious, Dan. This year is our year. We need to get serious. Okay? All right. So, shout out to them. Then, social media skits, because, you know, Comic Elder, of course. Code Red, not familiar with that one. And Taga Taga.
AKA Tokolosh.
Oh, Tokolosh. Oh, yeah. Oh, didn't he win like 2 years ago?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
he was either he won or he was
And
nominated.
then Film and Television Awards, we've got Kelvin Madula as Stan SK in High School Diaries. We've got Charles Kamara as Mike in My Guru. We've got Leroy Siafa as James in God Sleeps on Sundays. Outstanding actress, we've got Wizi Mangoma as in God Sleeps on Sundays. Charity Jojo in Maria Forget Me Not, and Natasha Shlamini as Beauty in Totem. Outstanding music video. Here we go. Kuno by Ja Praiser. Shout out to Blackswear and director Dave who did that. And then Fake Love, directed by ChatGPT and Sora. With
Winky D.
with prompts by Juicer Dementa. This one, I am flabbergasted. I actually don't know what to say. I'm being a little shady because I'm.
So okay. So
Okay, sorry. Let's give us the
me-
third one. Then sorry, Ngua Ndiamwari by Tokas Moy. Shout out to her. But an AI video nominated at a major award show.
So there was a debate at the radio station happening this week about what should our policy be on radio about AI music. And I mean, so we're having the debate, like what should there be a policy? What should the policy be? What have other countries done? iHeartRadio, for example, has banned AI artists from all their radio stations. What should the policy be on music videos? I don't like it, but my personal preference shouldn't be what's important here. What should... Imagine if someone uses a tool to create a video and the video goes on YouTube and people like it. Yes, there was a lot of prompting, but it wasn't just create a video. There was a lot of production work in terms of the prompting and putting it together. So if someone uses that tool, does that disqualify it from being considered? I don't like it. I don't think the output was good. The final output that comes from that AI prompting, I don't think it was good. But if some people do,
Before we even get to the I think the input, this is content that has been stolen by actual artists. And you're regurgitating stolen content. Yes, it's a new medium. Yes, it may be exciting for some people, but as you've rightfully said, the video there was no continuity. Winky D has 7 different faces in that video. And before this, we were marveling. Someone in our Patreon group had sent a Chinese music video of Kanye West singing in Mandarin. And as weird as that thing was, what was impressive is the continuity. Like, throughout the video, his face remains consistent. There's times he's like throwing a Grammy award. Outside of one scene, from what I can see, the Grammy maintains object permanence and size throughout the video. In other AI videos, like scale completely changes and adjusts, and perspective changes and adjusts, and all this stuff. What are we rewarding? That's also what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what are we incentivizing? Because like, you show me the incentive, I'll show you the result. What are you, as an award show, the highest in the land, what are you rewarding? What are you incentivizing creators to do? And that's what I'm trying to understand. If you're trying to say we want creators to reward creators at the top of their craft, right? I can't see, as someone who does this also, who's in this industry, who works with the National Arts Council and NAMAS, we've worked with them in various forms for various years. I can't reconcile this in my head. I can't reconcile what are they trying to reward here?
So do you think that the quality or the way this video was put together is wrong, or that from a policy perspective, when AI is used, it should automatically disqualify it from consideration?
All the above, not even disqualify. You can't drop this bomb without. I feel like this needs to be communicated in the announcement video, something saying, "Hey guys, AI technology is coming to thing as an award show. This is our policy. This is where we stand. Let's open it up for discussion, or take it or leave it. This is the way we stand." But to just drop this with no communication, I think is poor form. I think there needs to be some form of communication around this to say, hey, this is where we stand. Because right now, you're rewarding AI in music video. What happens when AI is used in poetry? What happens when AI is using literary arts? What happens when AI is using the theater? If you haven't set the policy, we don't know where you stand on this. So if you, Dan, you and I, before this recording, we were marveling at how good tools are getting and how good we're getting at using those tools and prompting those tools. If we put our heads to it, within an hour, we could come up with a prompt and a couple of edits to write a possible play, right? And with a couple more hours, we could turn that possible play into an AI video production. If it was so entertaining that it was generating views and we submitted it to the numbers and it got nominated, what is the policy there? And what are you telling other artists and other writers who spend a lot more time honing their craft and mastering it when we wrote that play using prompts that was trained on their work?
I hear you from a purist perspective, but this is the age-old debate. Okay, you say that the AI was trained on their work, and that's what was then used to develop the outputs from the prompts. How the debate is, and I don't think there's a clear answer. I'm simply pointing this out as a divergent view. Me learning how to become a playwright myself was also from their work.
So, two rebuttals. One, I find it hilarious. You're doing that funny thing that women always accuse men of doing, is they'll send a long paragraph and men will choose to respond to one sentence, which is what you did. I said
no. I hadn't finished, but anyway.
So I was speaking generally. Before we even get there, policy. I think announcing this as a nominee, without stating where you stand as an organization or where we stand as a country, especially when the AI policy just dropped last week, I think is a misstep. One, right? Two, you're right. Everyone learns, but we're not learning at the scale. No human being has been able to learn and regurgitate and iterate existing content at the rate at which AI does it. And it doesn't actually iterate. It just regurgitates, which is the other difference. Humans learn, ingest, and then, let's just call them dumb. I'm trying to find the better word. The simple ones just regurgitate.
So again, you're answering from a purist's perspective. I'm speaking from if the reasoning is it's not right because it's stealing other people's work. I'm saying, hold on, I don't think that's as straightforward, because if I learned how to become a playwright, it's because I learned by studying other people's work. So I don't think using other people's work as a baseline is a very easy delineator between what should be disqualified and what is qualified. So I'm not equating the two. I'm not saying human learning is equal to AI learning at all. I'm simply saying if this is our reasoning, if our reasoning is it was based on other people's work and it's not your original work, therefore it should disqualify it. I'm like, wait, hold on. From what we understand of how AI models work and how I would then so for example, if I know nothing about theater, I know nothing about theater, and I sit down and I say, give me a play, right? Write a screenplay for me, or write whatever the term is, a theatrical screen. I guess, is it a screen? It's not a screenplay, a theater play, whatever it is, right? Write it for me. And then I just take that and I just put it out there. Yeah, there we have a problem because you didn't use any of your own creativity and you didn't use any of your ability. But if I use the tool and say, okay, I want this. It needs to be like this. I want the first act to be like this. Then I look at the output and I say, okay, change this part and put it together. A purist might look at that and say that's not truly done in the right way. But if the end product is good, for the person who's not a purist, for everyone else who's simply consuming art, if it's a good product, I don't think that should automatically disqualify it based on the fact that AI was used in putting it together. If the argument is, well, AI was used in putting it together, but the AI stole from other artists, I'm like, hold on, I don't think it's as straightforward as all of that, because there's debate about how these things were trained and all of that and so on. But the debate that exists also includes, well, I don't know if you saw the most recent ruling that came through from Perplexity, I think, which was that I think the judge ruled, I can't remember the exact wording, but the judge ruled basically that the AI can, as long as it legitimately purchased the works that it was trained on, then it's fine. And then they had to pay a lawsuit because they used a ton of pirated works in their training, right? So essentially the ruling that came out of that was, it's okay to use other works to train your data as long as it's legitimately purchased. On top of that, most of these companies are now putting together partnerships and arrangements and agreements with publishers, specific publishers, publishing groups, and so on, to also give them a certain amount of money per certain amount of time used, et cetera, to compensate them for the usage of their works. So from a legal perspective, I don't work for OpenAI. I don't work for Google DeepMind. They're figuring that out over there. I'm using the tool that's in front of me that was trained on other people's work, yes, but the legal guys over there are figuring out how much is owed to who based on what it was trained on. As for me, I didn't steal. I accelerated at a much faster scale, as you rightly said earlier, than humans have ever been able to do, yes, but I used other people's work to train my tool that I am now using. I don't think that immediately disqualifies it as it stole other people's work. I think a far better, a far fairer judgment here is if the final piece of work that comes out, if the quality of that is not as good as something that was made by a human being who didn't use AI, which I would say this fake love video sucks in terms of just in terms of a novelty, it's an AI video. Oh, interesting. But in terms of the actual quality of the video, the
storyboard, the continuity,
object permanence, yes, all of that, it sucks because Winky D looks different in each frame. In different sections of the video, things don't flow smoothly. The story of it, all of that sucks. So to me, yes, you used AI tools, but the final product sucks. And if the argument is, Juicy Demento and Winky D are just pioneers, they're using tools early while they still suck, cool, no problem. I love pioneers, but let's not sit and pretend that it's better than something that was made by Blacks or something that was made by Director Dave or something that was made by any of these guys who are working really hard at putting together these videos, because it wasn't. At some point it might be, then I think it's fair to consider it. Because in my opinion, it's a tool that was used. And I also don't believe it's possible to simply just put in a prompt and get an output. I think your creativity and your work is still needed and your expertise and all of that is still needed. It might be faster and all of that. I think in the same way that digital tools made it easier rather than analog tools, even though right now the scale is insane. I don't know if that's an equivalent or that's a right equivalence to use. But still, ultimately, I don't think from a policy perspective, just AI disqualifies it. I don't think so. That's what I'm pushing back on.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with it, but I'm also want to separate personal feeling versus what I believe to be an objective policy or truth. That's why I led with outside of, as I agree with you 100%. The video sucks from a policy standpoint. The same way when these guys introduced new categories, there was some mention of it, like, hey, by the way, we're now adding social media stars. We're now adding podcasts. When did you guys communicate that AI videos were now eligible? And what qualifies?
So this is what I was originally going to say. There's 2 points. So remind me of the 2 points. The first one is the debate that we were having at the radio station is what should our policy be on AI music? And I saw people going back and forth, and this was my input. I said, the difficulty here is if we're talking about policy, we're talking about something that needs to be clearly defined. How do you define AI music? Is it 100% AI generated? What if it's 90% AI generated? Can you even count percentages and how much AI is used in its generation? If there were frames that were generated from AI, if they were their clips were generated from AI, and then the video editor took those clips and put them together using manual work, are you able to quantify how much a percentage of that video was AI made versus human made? What if a human being shot video and then used AI to smooth it out, to get the color correction, the correct lighting and all that? Does that count as an AI video? At which point in that very, very large spectrum from 100% no AI was used in the making of this to this was simply a prompt, all along that spectrum, where does it transition from human made to AI made? And as time goes along and more tools are AI enhanced, if I'm using Premiere Pro that has AI tools in it, and I click the button that allows me to smooth out a frame or to smooth out a keyframe transition using AI enhancement, Does that count as an AI tool? Most reasonable people would say, no, that's not an AI video. You just use a tool that's enhanced by AI. Okay, what if I did that what if that was automated for the whole video? Some people might feel differently. Okay, what if I shot most of the video, but some of the B-roll, I got it AI generated? Some people might feel one way or another. Okay, what if it's 50% shot with a camera and 50% AI generated? What if it's 50% shot with a camera and then edited with AI, and the other 50% was generated based on what I'd already shot? There's so many variables there that I don't think it's very easy to define what is AI music. So I think it would be difficult to make a policy to come out and say, we are now allowing AI music or AI music video. I think you have been either way. you have been. It's just the extent of it and defining it. Not to say that it's impossible. I just think it's a difficult thing and would require a bit of thought, and the right people would have to sit down and be able to put those definitions. How I think it should probably play out, I would say, I don't think a video like Fake Love should ever have been nominated. I think because it's very overtly using AI generated video clips in early versions of AI generation tools. I think if someone used VO3 now, or used, I don't know if you saw I think it's called C Dance, that put out some demos of their video generation this week, which people were their minds again were blown. If it had used that, and we know it's AI, but damn, looking at it doesn't look like it, that's a different conversation, because now we're sitting and saying, okay, but it's a good video. How do we then define it? But for this specific video, it's not a good video. Come on, guys. And anyone objectively can look at it. From a novelty perspective, maybe, wow, it's because it's interesting that it used AI. Okay, that's a different conversation. But it's not a good video. The second point that I wanted to bring up was, I think especially in Zim, but it's probably true all over the world, and especially for people who are not working a lot in the technical world or who are not in technology that much. There seems to be this default, I don't know if it's a Dunning-Kruger effect. Maybe that's the wrong bias to bring up. But like when you don't know much about something, but you know a little bit about it. I've spoken to so many people in Zim who they feel that, no, AI is here. We need to accept it. We need to push forward. We need to move forward with technology, which I don't disagree with that sentiment. But I don't think it automatically means we need to include this AI video in our numbers. It shows that we are forward thinking. It shows that we accept technology. I think the jump from this sentiment of we need to accept the forward movement of technology, as the National Arts Council, we need to accept that technology is moving forward, does not automatically jump to that's why Fake Love should be nominated. To me, it's the equivalent of step one, put on underpants. Step two, get rich, Anyway. Those are 2 points that I was going to say.
Are you selling courses on getting rich? Is this how you soft launch your new course?
I should. But I'm also not the person who's qualified to do that.
Yeah.
We are in that very annoying transition time where there's people who are super technical, right? Those will always exist. Then there's a few people who kind of understand what's going on. And then there's a majority who don't. And I think that there's a time that will transition to the majority kind of know what's sort of going on. Just like the majority of people understand Excel exists. But just imagine that time period when Excel was first launched and some people are starting to use it in their accounting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of, I've been drilling down into using Excel and AI tools. Whew. I'm damn near a data scientist now. I'm a data scientist. Let's push forward. Let's push forward. I'm a data scientist now. Because then I'm like, create pivot table for me in a separate tab. What is pivot table?
Please explain briefly. E-direct. Make no mistakes. Okay, we actually hadn't finished all the nominations because there was still the
Outstanding
music
Screen
awards.
Production, High School Diaries by John Mabuyane, Magweja.
No offense to all the other arts.
I'm trying to see what else is.
We also wouldn't have done theatre if it wasn't for the fact that Phil worked directly in theatre this past year. We're really looking at music, maybe TV, even TV.
Outstanding comedy. I think we need to touch on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the way, music awards. Outstanding female. We've got Sharon Mayonganise Cherai. Who's that, Dan?
That is
The thing is, like, your keyboard is so loud, you can't even sneak type.
it's a gospel artist. I don't know who it is.
Then we've got Anisha Tashinga Shoniwa. Who could that be, Dan?
Nisha Tees.
And then we've got Ashley Angel Moyo.
It's Ashley Angel Moyo. Ugh. No, I'm just joking. No,
Shout out to Shashizi. That's the fam. Huh? Then that could have been you also on stage with them. We got Michael Mahendere for outstanding male musician. Shout out to him. Energy Chizanga, aka Magalis. Freeman HKD. And then of course, I think we actually need to do like a graphic and see, like, for the last 15 years, when has Winky D or Ja Praiser not been nominated an outstanding male? I actually need to take that out. That'll be a fun data exercise. So Ja Praiser being the third nominee. Then breakthrough musician. We've got Junior Spraga. Atenda Chink, shout out to her. And then Shone. Nice. Outstanding music group, Redeemed Family. Werutendo, Joyful Praise. A lot of gospel.
Okay, can I just quickly mention this shown nomination for breakthrough musician? Junior Spraga, very deserved. He's got a ton of smash hits. Marules is my tune of 2025. Atenda Chinks, also on fire. Sean was nominated because he was opening for Coldplay. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. That is huge. Mm-hmm. Name me a Sean song.
Stop being a hater, Dan. Okay? Stop being a hater.
I actually think he's dope.
No, but wait. I think this is one of the things that they really need to. We need to check the website and see what it actually, because it says outstanding female musician. It doesn't necessarily say this has to be linked to a release or project. Because you could have had you could have, as a musician, you could have had an outstanding year. So if that is indeed the case, I can see them, and I can actually make a solid case for, you know what, in terms of achievement, that is good.
Yeah.
But
okay,
then it opens up a can of worms.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, it opens up a can of worms, because then Dr. Chai and Bantu and everyone else would also be like, oh,
yeah. Well, okay, let me just to clarify. I'm not speaking from a place of hate. I'm speaking from a place of, it's interesting that Sean was nominated, because it wasn't necessarily for his body of work, which he's got a couple of songs. Some of them were quite catchy and did okay on radio. Nothing that was a major hit, but some of them did okay on radio. And I quite like his music. But it's interesting to me that probably his nomination is because he went on tour with Coldplay, which is dope. And that's a huge achievement. And I don't think that disqualifies him from being nominated. But I think it's interesting that was probably the criteria used.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
I just did a quick Google. Ja Praiser was his first ever nomination for Outstanding Male was in 2014. How many times since then?
This is where the hallucinations start.
No, I've got pro thinking mode on. Okay, while it calculates. Outstanding music group, Redeemed Family, Verutendo, Joyful Praise, all gospel artists. Outstanding song, Rujoa by Ja Praiser, Adma Kadembo by Nisha Tees, and Too Much by Nati O.
We've got some. Okay. And then outstanding album, we've got Freeman AKG's The Notebook, Ja Praiser and Dini Mukudze, and then Nisha T, The Woman King. This is Ja Praiser's. Ja Praiser had a killer year. I don't see anyone else taking that from him.
I think, hear me out. Rujoa, huge song, absolutely huge. I saw some debate online when the 2025 Song of the Year announcements came from the radio stations. So ZFM Stereo Song of the Year for 2025 was Too Much. Number 2 was Rujoa. Star FM Song of the Year for 2025 was Too Much by Nati O. Number 2 was Rujoa by Ja Praiser.
Wasn't Nati number 3 on Star FM?
Or maybe it was number 3. Maybe I'm almost sure both Star and ZFM's number 1 song of the year was Too Much. I'm almost sure of that. And then people were like, wait, why isn't Rujoa song of the year? And then led to a debate. So I think song of the year might go to Natio, maybe. But I think outstanding album will go to Ja Praiser. Ndini Mukudze. But going back, you briefly mentioned comedian.
No, wait. I just realized before we even get there, let's go in order because we've got controversy. We have a controversy, a hondo yeshinda, if you will. Yadzoka Shakare. In outstanding male designer, a glaring omission. We've got
Zimbabwe's best designer.
Yes, we've got Ringa, we've got Toka Narrations, and we've got Zagiesa by Ishmael Tsakasa. But what we don't have, we don't have Atiperi. I can't. This is a coup. This is a coup.
You're shady for no reason. Yeah,
and
Star FM Song of the Year, Too Much by Nati O. ZFM Song of the Year, Too Much by Nati O.
Even when we go to Power outstanding FM. Contributor to the fashion industry, I see Amanda Mutanga-Dura, I see Priscilla Chigariro, I see Joyce Chimanyi. I don't see Atiperi. This is wild.
Power FM Song of the Year was Winky D's Sia.
I remember that one because I was voted.
Followed by Nati O's Too Much was number 2. So look, Japreza had a strong year with Rujoa. Absolutely huge smash hit, but I think Too Much actually might be, just judging from radio play and in the more contemporary youthful squad. Anyway, going back to comedian, it was in order, Phil, because you mentioned it briefly and you didn't mention the nominations. Outstanding comedian. This is in the Spoken Word Awards. Frank Chirisa, Mbongeni Ignatius, and Nigel Maritinho, aka Nijo the Slick Pastor. I'm frankly shocked that Kandoro is not nominated. Why wouldn't he be? He had... I actually don't know Frank Chirisa. I just quickly Googled him. And then Mbongeni Ignatius, also Googling. This is bad. I'm shook. Why isn't King Kandoro nominated? He had his end of year run. He had his tour that he was doing. Plus, do you know what he did? He also launched the youth that thing that he was doing there at Jason Pepper. New School Comedy, yeah. Not to mention he was also part of Nijo's tour. So if Nigel is nominated, anyway, for me, obviously Nigel should be taking it of the people that are there. But I'm disappointed to see that Kandoro is not nominated. Maybe he didn't submit, or maybe now that he's based outside the country, they were like, or maybe they were like, give others a chance. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Outstanding artist in the diaspora. We've got Night Freak, aka Bekinkosi Mabena. We've got Man Luckers, that's Lakson Chikutu, and Crispin Nyati, who's an actor in SA.
And then obviously People's Choice. Well, I guess we can go to promoter. We've got Chucky, Odyssey Entertainment for Kadoma Music Festival and Ngoma Osho. Weirdly, Hulk Events is not there. And I would say they've probably done the biggest numbers this year, and it's not even close.
Which event do they do?
Duke and Slay.
Ah, surprised that they're not there. Odyssey, I can understand because Kadoma Music Festival is huge, but it's just the one, right? Ngomane Osho, standard, they do Jacaranda, they do, Carpe Diem and various others. Stratosphere, Fiesta. Yeah. I mean, anyway, I don't know if that's public knowledge, so never mind. Okay, People's Choice Awards.
Nah, I didn't remember. I was even looking at you like
Prince Chiquita, Comic Elder, Winky D, Japreza, and Ritz McLeish.
That's a Winky D award. We know how that goes.
It's obviously.
But yeah, so those are the numbers. Are you going, Dan? Are you going?
I haven't received my invite yet.
Yeah, I was actually speaking to the team today for something else. Something got lost in the email. And I was like, guys, you never got back to me. Like, no, we thought you want to respond. I was like, okay, interesting. But yeah, I'll follow up with them soon. So yeah.
I feel it's never nice to ask for an invite.
No, I wasn't even asking. Like this Panebasa. This is anyway. You'll see because you know some of the work I do with them, and some of the things are pending. And I'm like, you guys have a big announcement. I haven't received the briefings, so I can do what I'm supposed to be doing.
And especially now that you've been so critical, Phil. I don't know. Maybe they're thinking of replacing you there with who's Who else can they use there? I don't know. Someone else. Anyway, let's move on from the Namas.
Let's change the gears. Chinjamagia.
Probably the biggest international story of the last couple of weeks has been the Epstein files. It's affecting not just America, but all these various countries. Lo and behold, even Zimbabwe.
We are in there like swimwear, bruh. There was talk of succession. There was talk of currencies. There was talk of money laundering. We're there.
So I'm sure, but we don't have to recap everything for you. But there's first of all, there's millions of files, and the files are a collection of emails, I think, and videos and correspondence and everything that was collected during the investigations that started into Jeffrey Epstein. I think that started back in 2005, I believe, when he was first accused of his terrible behavior towards the most vulnerable in society. But yeah, in those millions of documents, there were people that were saying, "Hey, we should try do this in Zimbabwe. Have you considered experimenting with the currency in Zimbabwe? What about launching a new currency in Zimbabwe? I can introduce you to this person and that person, the former president even." Yeah, so it was a nice reminder that Zimbabwe is part of the world.
What if homie's like hiding in Big Falls right now?
No. My man's in Tel Aviv, apparently.
Did you see that story of the Dutch newspaper that hacked into his FedEx account and saw that he was still getting deliveries after his death to multiple houses that he owned?
Did you see the story of his Fortnite account was active as of 2023?
Yeah, with the same name.
His account, which was known that this is his account, his username.
As we go back,
I'm sure
all the conspiracy theorists are eaten right now, and I don't even have a rebuttal.
I'm sure.
I don't have a rebuttal.
I'm sure there's an explanation.
Dan, we've been saying this for years, and every time we've been proved wrong. What you keep saying? The simplest explanation is probably the most likely. The simplest explanation is that man died in very weird circumstances. The video is missing. We don't know where the body is. Nothing. That man is alive, dude. We've seen the files, bro. He had done too many people. Guys, that man's Rolodex was strong. Dude, how does a man with $75 billion give you power of attorney and says, "Oh yeah, I gave him power of attorney so you could invest for me"? $75 billion power of attorney? Nah, G.
But man was asking him for antibiotic. What is he, a doctor now?
Fam, this dude was the fix of everything. People are getting... Did you read that story where homie ordered so many DNA tests? 23andMe had to call him to be like, "Go Blaz, explain. What are you doing?"
Anyway, so the Zim Connect. So apparently, in the Epstein files, there was an email where Epstein was pitching to, I think it was to MIT Media Lab, a plan to approach then President Robert Mugabe to help create a new currency for Zimbabwe, not to save the economy, but just as an experiment for crypto, finance theories, etc. He called Zimbabwe the great petri dish for testing economic models. When he was asked, "Do you know Mugabe?" he said, "No, but I can easily get his attention."
Did you see that Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous VH1 clip of Epstein that they found? Well, they didn't find it was there, and they brought it back up. So this is like mid-90s, right? And they're talking about Epstein and all his jets and this, that, and the third. And then they casually just mentioned homie has a $20 million lab in his basement with scientists from MIT just making whatever they want. And no one thought it was suspicious. Dude had a drug lab in his basement, and I was like, wait a minute, why do you need... My man's was Walter Whiting out there, bruh.
If I was a billionaire, I wouldn't be doing drugs, but I would definitely have scientists experimenting on stuff. I got the money, yo. Let's discover some stuff. It would probably be to like engineer medicines or cures or something, or to try and find some way of making more money. But I would definitely have a lab if I could afford it. Anyway, just tangential to this Jeffrey Epstein thing, or I guess part of it, Epstein files. I think, rightly so, everyone is very outraged, but I think there's a lot of unclear thinking that is now happening because of the outrage, because of what Epstein and all these people have done, and the disgusting things that are in those files. And I don't want to get into the conspiracies or the ideas about what words like jerky and stuff mean and all of that. But there's, in all the files, not just Zimbabwe and Mugabe come up, but several other names have come up, and several, like a lot of people just stop at, he's in the Epstein file. So, for example, I think we hinted at it last week when I was listening back. I was like, oh, we never got back to it when I mentioned that Jay-Z's name came up. Then you said you were happy, like people in the group hadn't referenced it, which you're happy that people read. But yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of takes with people saying that, yo, Jay-Z is in the Epstein files, which theoretically is true in the sense that he is named in the whole collection of documents that were part of the entire investigation since 2005. But he is listed. He is named in the files. In this case, it's the way he is listed is that it came in from a call to the FBI hotline that he was involved in a group situation. It mentions that Jay-Z and Pusha T were part of a group that involved Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. Some people have been like, that can't be right. So, yeah. Anyway, I wanted to hear your thoughts. It was something that we touched on last week, but we never ended up speaking about it.
I think like the moment is come and gone. I think, as you said, what I was alluding to and what was addressed was just people's lack of comprehension, or lack of reading, because they see a social media headline that's supposed to generate interest and they don't look further into it. And yes, they were mentioned, but once you look into it, you're like, wait, not to discredit victims, and we always operate on the assumption of belief of victims, but there also has to be a certain level of truth. There has to be a barrier to truth and honesty, right? And an anonymous tip line, though important to start an investigation, is a very low barrier because anyone can call into an anonymous tip line and share anything. And when you read that tip, it doesn't make sense because it first makes mention of Jay-Z having the social capital to be hanging around with Epstein and Harvey Weinstein in 1996. And then in 2006, somehow Pusha T also has the social capital to be hanging with these same people. It just doesn't make sense. And to me, it just didn't make much sense. And I don't think it involved further reading or further investigation. But it is important for people to at least read and look into issues. Which, weirdly enough, then brings me to another tangent. Have you been following this Glorilla, Brorilla, Studrilla drama?
You've just thrown words at me that mean absolutely nothing to me except Glorilla.
Oh, you didn't see Glorilla has a sister that's a stud who has been going online and saying Glorilla doesn't look after us.
Are we allowed to say that?
What stud?
Anyway, go on. Yeah.
It's not a slur at all. It's a noun.
Okay. Noun. Okay, but anyway, what's the story?
It describes a person, place, or thing. So Studrilla was there saying, yo, fam, she don't look after us. She don't support us. She supported everyone else.
Did you just call her Studrilla? Okay. Okay, who are these three people? You said Glorilla, Studrilla, and
Brorilla and Studrilla, one in the same. I'm just using the nicknames interchangeably.
Brorilla is Studrilla.
Yes.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, she literally does look like Glorilla, just like if Glorilla became a stud. Like, but hey, it then brought up thoughts about, and I feel like it's already been discussed on many a podcast already. But you know that one family member, Rombe, that always just finds ways to embarrass the family. There's that one. Because the story has developed in multiple ways. I don't think we'll discuss it on this podcast because you can get all the information, or we'll discuss it with the Patreons later. But it had gotten to a point where she was throwing so much dirt on Gloria's name. Gloria went on live and called her parents, and the parents were even saying, "Man, where do you roam? Sorry, baby."
I just googled Brorilla, and it mentions that her name is Ska. I was like, I just googled Brorilla. Brorilla is Glorilla's sister, whose name is Ska. Okay, read more. Ska Woods. Is that correct? Ska Woods. Then it made me think, wait, there's someone I was watching on TikTok recently called Scarlip, who's a dope rapper.
No, that's definitely not the same person. Definitely not the same person.
Yeah,
Definitely very different accents. Scarlip is very in New York. But yeah.
It's kind of dope, actually. Anyway, okay, moving on from that story, let's talk about the Super Bowl. The World Championship, the biggest sporting event in the world.
This year I was so uninterested, and when I woke up and I saw people complaining how boring the game was, I was like, yep, it's a good thing I got my 8 hours of sleep. But I did watch Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny Benito. I watched his Benito set.
Live or after the fact?
Dude, I'm not waking up at 3 a.m.
What did you think of it?
It was nice. I liked it. It was good.
I thought it was dope. Like, I don't listen to Bad Bunny. I don't have any of his songs in my playlist. My wife does, incidentally. She showed me I think 2 songs that she has on her playlist. But older songs, I think one from 2023 or 2 or something, I don't know. But I don't really listen to Bad Bunny, and I didn't watch that set with the music in mind, but the vibe was dope. The vibe of that whole performance was just, I have to give props. It just felt dope. I don't understand the nuances of the culture and if you want to see Easter eggs, New Rockstars dropped a breakdown video of
what?
of the Bad Bunny.
wait, Eric Voss dropped an Easter egg of a Latino, or did he get a Latino?
No, it wasn't Eric. They got a Latina lady, a Puerto Rican lady who actually, she broke it down. She was, I couldn't even watch the full video because I was like, basically, you know, the black lady who's on New Rockstars, what's her name? I forgot her name, but she's like, the same way I felt last year with Kendrick's performance is how my Latino friends have been telling me this performance is. So I got one of them to explain it over to you, and then they explained the whole video. I watched it for a few minutes and I was like, it's not really for me, but it's interesting to see the different things that are in there. But yeah.
Eric Voss is really deep.
My man is creating a media empire, bro. Anyway, point is, I thought it was a dope performance. It was dope energy. It was dancing and colorful and telling a story and very well produced and put together. And I have to give it props, right? But to be fair, that's not really my music. I wouldn't normally listen.
Sometimes reggaeton goes down. They collaborated with the channel itself. Wow. Yeah, that VIP. Yeah, that's my jam. That's my jam right there.
But yeah, I saw people, aside from the normal racist conversations that are happening in America, I did see some people say that, wasn't great. And the reasoning was because they were trying to showcase like the actual either singing or whatever. Like they got some of the words of they tried to isolate the singing from the music and stuff like that. And I was like, guys, this is not an opera singer who's using his powerful vocals or something. It's the same way that Kendrick didn't last year. It's as a combined performance. It's okay not to like the artist or not to like the music. It's fine. Even to come and say that it wasn't for me, I think it's cool. But like, you don't have to be like the contrarian who's trying to show just how, saying some of these MAGA guys be right. I personally thought it was a dope performance. Of course, every time the Super Bowl drops, there's always focus on the ads because companies spend the whole year planning for their 30-second to 1-minute ad. I think they're all 30-second ads during the Super Bowl that cost up to 10 million allegedly or more. And there were a couple of very interesting ones. So I spoke about one of them. I think we spoke about last week when we spoke about the Claude versus ChatGPT. Where Claude dropped their ads. But there was an interesting one by Serena Williams. Serena Williams starred in an ad for Roe. Roe is a weight loss drug that think of it as a competitor to Ozempic. And it's a GLP-1 drug, and she's over there explaining how she uses Row. It's better for her health. She's able to, it's good for her knees, etc., etc. I don't know. I felt weird about it. I love Serena Williams. I felt weird that she was doing an ad for a GLP-1 specifically for weight loss.
Capitalists will always capitalize. That's what I'll say.
If you want some background information, Row is a company that was seeded by Serena Williams' husband. Serena Williams' husband, Alexis Ohanian, he's the founder of Reddit and a billionaire and an investor. So he was part of the seeding round.
made their money selling pee-pee pills. For those of you who don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have super strong feelings, but when I think about it, I think an athlete, a peak athlete, a GOAT athlete, one of the top athletes of all time, of all sports, it just feels wrong to sell what is essentially a fat pill.
If Row came and knocking for us to sell the pee-pee pill, would you do it?
I am not an athlete.
No, I said the pee-pee pill then, not the GLP drug.
Even in that regard, I'm still not an athlete.
That's why you need the pill.
I try my best.
So that's exactly why you need the pill.
So, assuming, first of all, there's nothing that is fine. I think that anything, these are very complex things, because if you're taking medication for anything wrong with you medically, cool. But if you're taking any medication for aesthetics, purely cosmetic reasons, it means you're accepting the side effects that come with it purely for cosmetic reasons. Now, perhaps the side effects are less than what you're facing. Some people have extreme chronic obesity, and the side effects that come with everything has side effects, right? The side effects that come with taking this pill might be worth it. Cool. But we also do know that for many people, it's purely just to try and fit into that smaller dress or to look better on Instagram. And I don't know, that just I don't have enough bandwidth to fully encapsulate my mind around this from the perspective of people who are, in that mindset. So I don't know, but to me, it just feels wrong. It feels wrong for Serena to do that. And I predict that in a few years, there's going to be a lot of tracking back. That's what I would say.
I think one of the cynical things that I've realized and that I've learned is sometimes people take their calculated risk because they don't care, and they've realized it doesn't matter. Like there's so many celebs, right, who in retrospect have been on the wrong side of history, whether it's something benign like which medications to promote or which programs to push or which celebrities to push or which treatments to push, or even something as bad as which sex traffickers to associate with. And sometimes it just skims off their back like a duck and they just move on.
It doesn't have to be that bad, because would no one would get backlash if you were doing a McDonald's ad. But arguably, in terms of health, McDonald's is top.
Stormzy would have a different case to there. Stormzy would be like, "Really, Dan? I wouldn't get backlash from McDonald's ad? Really? You sure about that, buddy?"
I mean, that's from a different perspective. But my point is, there is plausible deniability that you don't view it as anything harmful, especially if your husband has invested in it.
Yes, and you're very correct. But the thing there is, outside of a medical condition we may not know about, why would one of the most dominating athletes, a physical specimen, not only in her prime, but even before she started taking this, need this product? That's what we don't understand.
Maybe it would have helped if she explained, but then she doesn't have, okay, ultimately, we are bending over backwards because we love and respect Serena so much. But ultimately, my opinion is that this is wrong.
I'm not bending over backwards. I'll call it out, yeah.
Even if even if it turns out 3, 4, 5 years from now that a lot of the fear mongering that exists around GLP-1 drugs was unfounded, still there will always be side effects with any medication. Even it'll be on the boxes for Ozempic and all these GLP-1 drugs. And if you're taking it purely because that's what it seemed to be advertising. It seemed to be advertising purely cosmetic reasons. So I don't know. It just feels off.
Yeah. Sorry, Dan. We've got to go gaga. You know, I've late in the day. Right. What else do we need to touch base on here? Ozempic era.
Okay. Last thing from the. It's not really from the
Super Bowl ads. Did you watch the Dunkin' Donuts ad?
I did. Yes. Isn't that the one with Ben
Affleck, Matt Damon, Ted Danson, Jennifer Aniston, Jaleel White.
Great. That was a great ad. Like the one about Super Bowls being food or something like that.
Yeah. And then they were on a break. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. I like that. Yeah. That was my favorite.
Did you? Anyway, I was going to say, outside of the ads, I was going to say the rumors had been circulating, but it looks like the hard launch of Lewis Hamilton and Kim Kardashian was at the Super Bowl.
I trust no relationships the Kardashians are in.
I mean, that's your man's, though. You got no opinions?
So this is one thing that we need to establish, and you keep saying it, and I also reiterate it in different ways. I don't know that nigga. I love him as a driver. I love what he represents. I love what he represents for black athletes. I don't know that nigga. I don't know what he likes in his women. I don't know what he does behind closed doors. All I know is what he does when he sits in a very fast car and goes around the track. That's what I know. Anything
so
beyond
you ain't
that?
Got no opinions?
Huh?
None? You ain't got no opinions?
Time. My man's done birdie things. If you look at his track record, he's a bit of a bird. He's a bit of a bird in that department.
To be fair, yeah. Was it also? Didn't he used to date her sister?
I don't know. I don't keep up with all these grants.
I saw someone say that. Again,
I don't keep up with these grants. It could also just be a publicity stunt because he needs to generate something for his new fashion line. I don't know. I don't care. As long as he's happy. What I care about is whoever's replacing a dummy as his trackside engineer and who can help him get some races on the board this season, because this legacy is falling down badly.
It also looks like our Zimbabwean she was in Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
Oh Lord, it'll come to me if I just take a second. It'll just come to me. Stacey
Travers.
Yeah. She's moved over to another team. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. This is my only thought, and it will be a brief thought so that we can wrap this up. We had a similar thought when we spoke about Zion Williamson some years back. You know,
that's a different level, though. Zion is Zion.
Of course, that's a completely different level. But sometimes, when you don't have access, there's something that you view as premium spec. And even though the day comes when you finally get access, you're like, I know that's for me. Even though you're now at a stage where it's not. You don't have to idolize that anymore.
So
I can imagine a 16, 17-year-old, although to be fair, then Kim Kardashian wasn't famous because they're almost the same age, even though Kim is older, right? Kim is 44, he's 42.
You're saying this is, I don't know nothing about him.
All I'm saying is imagine a 18, 19-year-old Lewis Hamilton, you know, watching reality TV, seeing this beautiful woman.
I think you're putting a lot. Now you know it has salt, a lot of salt then.
That's the whole purpose of this podcast. We're throwing on our salt and pepper. We're not just saying.
Lewis has been famous for damn near
the crash out has been hilarious.
But the crash out is from Lewis's casual female fans or the new fans who are. I have noticed it. As men,
Kim haters.
We've seen him and we've seen his spec, but also, as you were describing it, there's actual things like tangible benefits I can point to outside of like PR and everything else that I see that Kim can bring to the table. She's obviously very attractive, very beautiful. She clearly knows something that keeps these guys coming back. She's got her own money. She clearly knows how to hold it down, because a lot of that Kanye stuff, unless she was doing some shady behind the scenes PR stuff, she didn't expose until it became absolutely necessary. So I can also see the plus side of it. And then obviously, like, if you're trying to get some exposure, you're trying to do some branding, whatever that may be, I also see that happening. But at the same time, I've now seen 2 Super Bowls in a row. Well, 3 actually, where the person going to the Super Bowl is involved in a high relationship, and then thereafter it goes quiet. We've seen with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. We just saw with Cardi B and Stephon Diggs, who seem to have broken up the day before the Super Bowl, apparently. But that still happened. So I wouldn't put it past Liberty Media or anyone else to be like, yo, let's just photograph you guys together a couple times. Let's get the buzz going. Let's see what we can do so we can get the new season of Drive to Survive. Then maybe they're going to have some crossover with Drive to Survive and Keeping Up with the Kardashians or something.
Oh, Lord. I guess capitalism will capitalize. Anyway, it's interesting. It's slightly interesting.
I do want to touch on this. So there was a crazy... We've been discussing this on the podcast, but also some of the podcasts that we follow, the tech podcasts, have been saying how Ring cameras are massive privacy invasion, especially because Amazon and Ring have been giving over this information and the data that they record to law enforcement, sometimes without even a warrant. Just a request and they'll get it. And they released an ad that was literally Minority Report, where someone lost a dog and then they used their cameras to find the dog. And they were like, oh, look, we found your dog. And the people with comments watching this like, are you guys crazy? Like, this is a feature? And so did you see the Wise ad to rebuttal this ad?
Yeah, I saw. That was clever.
But this, once again, the conspiracy theorists prove we are living in a dystopian hellscape that the conspiracy theorists have been telling us for. I'm stocking up on my tinfoil because it's real.
I don't know. I'm kind of going the opposite direction of... It's kind of inevitable at this point.
Yeah.
These billionaires have all my information. I can fight hard to keep as much of it, as hidden as possible, but it's a losing battle. It just means I'll last slightly longer than others. I don't know, man.
I think everything else is going to be in the... maybe we'll do a bonus episode over the weekend. Or if I get some time, I'll just...
No, we've done a solid episode, Phil. We've done well.
Let me finish my sentence, please. Can I finish my sentence, please? I was just going to fire up the disc and just have a call with the patrons on Saturday, where we will discuss talking points like Queen Nadia and what that means for Zimbabwe. The Zemura scandal.
You can watch a Queen Nadia podcast on the Zigo NAMA-nominated Zigo podcast, the Queen Nadia interview.
We will also speak on the drama at Zemura. Maybe we'll have a full conversation about that next week. And then, oh snap! Before we go, I gotta give a shout. Yo, I wanted to play the song, but we've been getting so many issues with takedowns for music. I've lost my Spotify account because of it. But James Vanderbeek of Dawson's Creek passed away after losing a battle to cancer a day ago, which really hit me hard. The first TV show box set that I ever bought on DVD was Dawson's Creek. And I used to rinse that show back in the day. So this actually hurt me, man. Because I don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
It's actually mad because I had to Google him when you posted it in the group.
Yeah, we live different lives sometimes.
Yeah, we all do, I guess. We all do. Yeah. Oh, and then the other thing we must talk about at some point is the Reprographic Rights Association organization.
Guys, we are being run by a mafia. Panama mafia.
But I think at this point we can safely say this has been a good show. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Two Broke Twimbos. My videos that I've been posting for my radio show, people keep saying, you should have a podcast. I do have a podcast.
This is why I say
Two people have said that to me.
We'll be dropping the ball. Once we sort out this finance thing and I get back on my feet, also we need to figure out a solution. I'm in the works to get a studio, but granted, you are now bi-coastal, so I don't know if the studio will work.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out.
No. I'm solving it by being serious about a home studio. So I've ordered some things on Takealot that hopefully.
Yeah. So I'm also kitting it out. I'm sorting out this office. As you can see, the acoustics aren't great now, but by March, this office will be fully lit and fully acousticated, and then we'll be serious.
Even from this, guys, we need your help. We're going to take a few clips from this episode just a couple of clips, nothing too deep, and just post them up on our Two Broke Twimbos page just to make sure the word is out there. The full video, maybe we'll put it up exclusively for patrons because
I've been fidgeting. My ADHD was thinking. I'm not even in frame right now. I'm in frame. I don't look like I'm in frame.
You're fine. I mean, the whole point of it is just so that patrons have access to the video content. At some point when we properly edit, maybe we can, officially do a video version. But for now, we can just do the clips. I just have to find time to edit it. But I've got a nice workflow for editing now, so we'll make it work. I use CapCut. CapCut is so good. But yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Please follow Two Broke Twimbos on everything. Take the opportunity now, please, to go to Two Broke Twimbos on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Those are the big three that we will be using. But also subscribe on YouTube because at some point we'll also start doing the videos on there. And I think on that note, we will end it here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Arsenal is about to play against Brentford. So I guess we'll catch you on the other side.
All right, we out.